the power players, right? That's what they are. So Alabama's number one. Now they got 54 of the first place votes. Ohio State, oh, what a shock. They're two. They got 5 first place votes. Georgia, which will most likely win the East, or the SEC, they are third.
Don't count out those Vols.
I would count them out against Georgia. Although I believe in what they're doing now. I think he'll get them to a position where they can be a power again. Unfortunately, Georgia's in their league and in their division, but Georgia is third, and they got the last 6 votes, okay? So there's 65 first place. There's 65 voters. Those are all your votes. Clemson 4, Notre Dame 5, Michigan, A&M, Utah, Oklahoma, Baylor. Those are your top 10. So in 2 years, or whenever the heck Oklahoma and Texas go, you'll even have more people in your top 10 from the SEC. This one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3 from the SEC. Clemson and Notre Dame. Are we counting Notre Dame as the ACC?
Not yet. Not in football. There is strong independent. Greg Gaston says Texas did get 1 vote for number 1. Or maybe it was 1 vote for the top 25, but regardless, 1 vote for Texas.
You're absolutely right. I just saw that. That's the only other, and they're voted 18th. He's right.
There's one homer
Texas
out
got
there. 1
first place vote, a team that finished 5-7 last year. Now they do have the promise of better play, and they are still ranked in the top 20, but I would not have voted them number 1. I don't know. That had to come from the state of Texas. I would bet that is the case. Cincinnati, the top American team, I'm pretty sure 22. And let's see, because Houston is not in there, even though Houston was picked by the American Athletic Conference folks as the overall number 1 pick.
I was about to say, Cincinnati should have a big drop off losing that quarterback.
Houston is 25. So, it does seem sort of funny. Cincinnati deserves it. They're the first non-Power 5 to make a playoff, right? They deserve it. They did lose 3 guys to the NFL, including a quarterback. That's a pretty big loss. We'll see if they do reload. But, it's interesting to me. The American Athletic Conference gets 2 in the top 25, and, of course, both those teams will no longer be in the American after the next year. Mike Oresco made a point of that when he was giving his address about how all of a sudden these are now much better teams now that they're going to be leaving the American. Kentucky gets in at 21. The SEC well represented, that is for sure. Tennessee would be 28 from others receiving votes.
A lot of promise for Kentucky.
A lot of promise for Kentucky. You would think the way this is that Kentucky would be the favorite over Tennessee.
That's what it seems like right now.
You don't have to double check. Where is that game? Boy, that'll be a good game to watch, right?
It should be. I think those teams in the East between Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky, it's really anybody's guess.
They play in Knoxville on October the 29th.
Favorable. That's favorable for Tennessee, but then Tennessee also has to play Alabama every year. Like you said, they play Georgia.
You know what? We'll see how it plays out. My gut feel right now is I would say, and I love Kentucky and I love Stoops. I really do. I think he's actually given them hope in football. But I would say right now, based on the quarterback situation there and the system, and now he's got some guys in there, I would say I think Tennessee, we're going to make picks. We're going to make every pick. I would say at this moment, Tennessee would win that game at home.
I agree. I think Kentucky is, and this is really just a gut feel. I don't have a ton of insight, but I feel like Kentucky is kind of set to be very disappointing. Florida's competitive. You just talked about Tennessee. Even South Carolina has a chance. Kentucky's got a hard run to even be second place in the East.
So that's your new top 25. A couple of things. I'm going to give one light thing here that I'm pleased about. You know this Big Boomer thing who like rates everything.
Oh, Big Game Boomer.
Game Boomer.
That's right.
Big Game Boomer.
Oh, I think I know where
So
you're
Big
going.
Game Boomer did the top 10 college marching bands in every conference. Then I'll get to bad news. Top 10 AAC, number 1, the Pride of the South. Isn't that, I think that's what they call themselves, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Memphis, number 1. Houston, 2. Temple. I think Temple has a pretty big band. They're 3. Cincy, 4. The Navy. Oh, that's disappointing. Navy is number 5. By the way, did you see? This is incredible. Navy's last 4 captains, and there's only 2 positions at the Naval Academy of leadership that are voted on by the cadets. All the other leadership areas are done by the teachers, the superiors, right? The class president and the captain of the football team, which they call the captain of captains, those are the only 2 that are voted upon by the players, by the academy members, the cadets themselves. 4 of the last 6 years, the football captain has been from Shelby County.
Really?
Yes. Is that not amazing?
Wow. I thought you were going to say they're now Marines or something like that, but regardless, that's unbelievable. From Memphis.
From Memphis. The latest one is Kip Franklin, who's an offensive lineman from Houston High School, Germantown guy. He's the captain of captains this year. 4 of the last 6. And I must say, I'm so proud. I've got a very good friend, Steve Haley, whose grandson, Ethan, has just graduated from the Air Force Academy, and he is an amazing, amazing kid. I think he went to White Station High School. I'm almost certain of that. And then, you've got to get somebody who nominates you to go to one of these academies. I believe it was Steve Cohen who did that. And then this kid has taken off, and he's going to be like the strategic guy in a jet up above the earth coordinating battles. Hey, it's just amazing. It really is.
Captain of Captains is a legendary name, too. That's a great name.
And that is what Kip Franklin is. I just think that is amazing. But they got to do some work on their marching bands.
Tennessee, though, in the SEC was ranked the top marching band on that list I saw, too. So 2 Tennessee schools.
It is. Tennessee is the number 1 marching band in the SEC. A&M is 2nd. LSU 3rd. Auburn 4, Florida 5. I think it's Carolina 6, Alabama 7. Oh, they're getting killed. Ole Miss is 9.
Ole Miss is down.
Arkansas is 10.
I always like Ole Miss's band. They're Pride of the Southland, right? Isn't that what it is? They're Pride of the Southland, and Memphis is Pride of the South. They're very similar names.
Yeah, something crazy like that. North Texas is number 1 in CUSA, so we got a big band coming in. I think Rice is 2nd, middle is 3rd. Oh, middle's not coming, though. It's just it's North Texas and Rice. UAB is 4th. They'll be in there. Interesting. Anyway, so that is the good news. But, I should point out, Navy 5, East Carolina 6. And I thought East Carolina's band would be better than that because they're pretty good on those pregame shows. SMU is 7. Man, oh, man. SMU, that's very disappointing, right? SMU? Because let me just tell you, they're not very good with the band, but they're really good at paying. I don't know if you just saw this story. It's just crazy. They have a collective. It's called the Boulevard Collective. They got money at SMU. We know that when it was illegal to pay.
That's right.
They were paying big bucks, probably more than they're paying right now. So they have committed unprecedented compensation in college athletics, according to Front Office Sports. They will pay out $3.5 million annually in NIL money to athletes. Boulevard will pay SMU football players and basketball players. I don't know if that includes women. Probably has to, right? I'm not sure. The number is each player who is signed by SMU upfront guaranteed, not any other deals, just from this collective, will get $36,000 per year.
I didn't even think about women. Do you think it does include women there?
I don't know.
Pictures they kept showing are just men.
There would be a Title IX
Have to be.
suit if there wasn't.
But this is also independent money, too. It's not like from the university.
Yeah, but a lot of these collectives are definitely in partnership with the university itself.
It would have to be, I suppose.
I mean, I know for sure with the 901 collective that Memphis has that they work with the school.
Wow. This is $11,000 more than what Texas Tech put up, and that was just for football players,
right.
too.
Right. And I guess this is Texas Tech, it was walk-ons.
Yeah.
Anybody who was on the football team was getting $25,000.
That's right.
Whew.
You have to think that this will be, if this is the market price at this point, other schools are going to follow suit and put up that kind of money. Maybe not as publicly.
I can tell you this much. Since NIL went in and like guy Bryce Young getting $1 million a year before he took a snap, and everybody was going, well, wait till that left tackle just decides not to block because he is not getting a penny. Now they're getting 36.
That's right.
36 grandaroonies. Holy moly. That's crazy. This stuff, it's the wild, wild west.
Do you think that levels the playing field at all? Do you think, like, if SMU could put up as much as, let's say, Ole Miss, do you think that levels the playing field in terms of the recruits they could get?
To a certain extent, sure it does.
I wonder how much exposure, or like, what if I made it in Alabama too? Alabama.
Well, I don't know that Ole Miss is paying every player $36,000.
That's right.
So let's just say it like this at this very moment. If you're a kid and you're a second string running back, but you're good, and you might have the potential to become a first, and you're getting $36,000 there, and you're getting nothing at Ole Miss, where are you going?
Yeah, you had to keep your players around with NIL money too.
I hate to say this, but if you're at Memphis and you're an O lineman and you're not making anything, or you're making whatever the collective is getting you, which is let's just say $1,500, and you can get $36,000, you might not play, but you're going to get $36,000. You got to think about that.
I heard Greg Schiano at Rutgers, he was begging he had like a meeting with his NIL group or whatever, begging them to put up $8 million, just not even for recruiting, to retain their roster, to prevent something like that from happening too. So it's really a whole new ball game in terms of having to pay guys just to keep them around from going and taking that $36,000.
Well, and schools, look, SMU's got a lot of money. Ole Miss has quite a bit of money. I don't know what the rules are either. Like, can you use, if you're an SEC school, part of the $70 million television money that you might pay to enhance your locker room, can you take portions of that money and pay the players in the guise of NIL? I probably need to have an NIL expert on to explain that.
I think it has to be outside. The way I understand it, at least. It has to be like the grain elevator down the road or whatever.
That's what this collective is. This is outside.
Mm-hmm. I think that money has to go specifically into the athletic department. I don't think that can be used for NIL. But that's also ridiculous. Why do the schools get a pass from having to compensate the players? It has to be, Joe business down the street.
Do the kids pay taxes on this? I think they have to. It's a crazy new world. It's literally free agency every year with no salary cap. It's the nuttiest system, and I don't know who will fix that. I don't know that it's the government's job to come in and fix college athletics. And like I said before, just look at the top 25. Those schools that are at the top that have plenty of money with collectives to pay players, they don't want the rules changed. It's, there's nobody that looks after the betterment of the whole entity, college athletics as a whole. There is no czar. There is only conference commissioners that And I don't think anybody can dispute this fact. The conference commissioners are only looking after their own interests. Greg Sankey only cares that the SEC flourishes. That's it. The guy at the Big Ten, look what he did to the alliance that he had with the Pac-12. He only cares about the Big Ten. There is nobody out there looking after the betterment of the whole entity. But I will say this, when you see, and I always talk about in life how the pendulum swings. It does. We go from one extreme to the other before something changes that. And right now, the biggest beneficiary are the players. If you can go as a basketball player or a football player to SMU now, and on the front end, you're getting a scholarship, and at SMU, it's got to be worth $50,000, right? And that you don't have to pay taxes on. But now, on top of that, you're making a minimum of $36,000. Of $36,000. You could be the walk-on. $36,000. The pendulum is swung at this moment truly in favor of the college athlete, which there is some karma payback to that. Because if you think about it, they have been unpaid labor forever, and the system is catching up with all of that. We got to catch up with Tim Doolin. We're talking baseball today. And then next couple of weeks, we'll bring in our friend Russell Copeland. He'll make his predictions today on the AFC West. A lot of things to talk about. Deshaun Watson, which he's been pretty vocal about all year long. And I just got sick to my stomach today when Roquan Smith said he wants a trade. Well, the new thing is you go to camp, and you know, it's not like you're holding out. You're like holding in. You're in camp, but you're not playing, and you're demanding to be traded. The guy's on his last deal. It's $9.7 million, last year of his deal, and he wants an extension. And the Bears ought to do that. But what he is saying, I haven't seen the number, he is saying it's an embarrassment of what they've offered. If I sign that, not only would I be hurting myself, I'd be hurting the linebacker position in the financial setup of the league. I'm so glad he's looking after the league.
It's unselfish.
Isn't that really something? We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. The summer clearance sale now in full swing with above ground pools. Just an unreal price. $2,000 off of that now. $2,000 off an above ground swimming pool. You can find all kinds of little added incentives, like specials that are too good to pass up. You get a free ladder upgrades, and you get a whole season worth of chemicals if you buy now. Get the 2022 pool that'll be ready for 2023. 30% off the in-stock furniture now as they make way for other new stuff to come in. You can always find great deals at Family Leisure. That is I-40 and Wooden Road. You know, once again, our title sponsor, and they have been for years. We're so proud to be affiliated with Homer Skelton Hyundai, where they never take advantage of the times. They just take care of you. And that has to do with the pledge from Chris True, the general manager, who says you'll never pay more than sticker price for any new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Other dealerships, I've seen stories where $7,000 above sticker price was considered a good deal. A good deal to pay $7,000 over the initial sticker price? That never happens at the corner of Craft Road. That's the first exit in Mississippi and Highway 78. They take care of you. That's why they retain so much business. Homer Skelton Hyundai, where you never pay more than sticker price on a brand new automobile. We will head cross town and talk to our friend Tim Doolin, fresh from the Connie Mack World Series. How did the Doolin Dodgers do? We find out in just a second.
You have opinions?
Uh-huh.
Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line. 360-8255. 360-8255.
If you've been racking your brain trying to think of the perfect gift for someone, here's the simple answer. Give them the gift of Prime, 117 Prime. Nothing shows how much you care about them like the gift of fantastic food. And 117 Prime is as fantastic as it gets. Give that special someone a gift card for 117 Prime, and these steak experts will prepare them what will almost certainly be the best steak they've ever had. Don't buy them a tie or a book they'll never have time to read. Get them what they really want. Get them Prime.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
We all need that great snack on the course, at home, or on the go. Golf Sticks Pretzels Twist hits the spot. STIX. Go to golfstickspretzels.com and order now. The company is in West Point, Mississippi. Buy by the case, 3-ounce golf sticks, 12-bag count, 12 individual 3-ounce bags for $24. Buy by the case, 3-ounce case, 36-bag count, 3 ounces per bag, $42. In all the area golf shops like TPC Southwind, Spring Creek, Miramichi, Memphis National, Timber Truss, and of course at Old Waverly and Mossy Oak Golf Club with the company right there in West Point, Mississippi. Guaranteed a birdie in every bag. They provide a delicious, healthy snack for athletes, fans, and it promotes the great game of golf. Proven to be the best tasting pretzel, Golf Sticks Pretzels coated with specialty seasoning, paired with a buttery crunch that will power you through any season. Make it your second golf bag. GolfSticksPretzels.com, STIX, a birdie in every bag. GolfSticksPretzels.com.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Next time you walk into a grocery store, buy a carton of milk, just look at the immense selection of types, sizes, and brands. Well, Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, also known as Sheldon. You've heard me talk about him a million times. He likes to tell people selling your home can be just as confusing as trying to pick an agent. All kinds of selection, right? You go with someone, but you don't know if they really are the right person for you in this job. Sheldon tells people talk to 2 or 3 real estate agents. Make sure he is included in the interview process. You definitely need to find out what they think of your house and also the price, but also, what will they do for you? Will they be honest with you about possibly doing a few things to change the appearance, which will enhance your price? Find out why people say when you want the job done, you call my guy Sheldon. He has that highly successful strategic marketing program that can make the difference in what you get for your own house and also when you will get it. He might not be the best golfer in town. In fact, he may be the worst, but he knows real estate. All you got to do is call 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. Tim Doolin joins us now. We talk baseball. First, let me ask you, we talked with you when you were out at Farmington, New Mexico, Connie Mack World Series. How did your Dodgers do?
We did good. We got farther than any other 17U team has ever gotten. We got to the quarterfinals and kind of ran out of gas, but it was a great experience for our guys. The city of Farmington has been hosting this event for, I think, about 50 years. And the hospitality, the fan base, they had a huge parade for all the teams. It was a great experience, and our players will never forget it. But it was good. It was good.
That is terrific. There has been a great storyline. There's so many good baseball storylines this year, but one of them has been Matt Carpenter, who appeared to be washed up, goes to the Yankees, and finds the Fountain of Youth. It's crazy. And then last night fouled a slider off his left foot, his front foot while batting, I believe.
It was his back foot.
Oh, it was his back foot.
It was his left foot. It was his left foot, but it was his back foot, which is really odd for that to happen. Hit right. I mean, because most guys. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but most guys wear a pad on their front.
Yeah.
Foot that covers their shin and the top of their toe. Well, very rarely do you see any guys wearing it on their back foot. But yeah, he fouled it off and it hit right on top of that foot. And he has made a unbelievable comeback. You know, he's always been a student of the game. His dad was a college baseball coach, and I'm sure he looked at all the analytics and figured out, and I'm sure tons of video, and figured out that he had to shorten up his swing. And I'm sure if you look at his body has gotten in a lot better shape than it was the last couple of years with the Cardinals, and he had fought some injuries as well. But yeah, it's hopefully he'll make a quick comeback and be ready for the playoffs, which I'm sure he will be.
I hope that is the case. It is a fracture, so depending on the severity of the crack, I guess he could come back within a month, or he could be out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I would think he'll be ready for the playoffs. He'll have some rehab to do because he won't be able to be swinging a bat while he's while the broken bone is healing for sure.
All right, so we got a couple of teams on hot streaks. The Dodgers, and you are very familiar with a bunch of their players, and the Cardinals, that you are also very familiar with a lot of their players. And the Cardinals have now surpassed the Milwaukee Brewers. Are they going to win that division?
I think so. I think they made a couple of trades, and we've been talking about the abundance of outfielders that they've had, although they all haven't performed at the highest level that we expected. But I think trading Bader was not only good for Bader, but I think it was also good for the Cardinals. Picked up some depth, as well as they're just getting really good production out of not just guys like Albert, but Wainwright's having a really good year, and they just keep the Cardinal way going. They play with a lot of energy. They got some really good young talent, and I think they're going to win that division.
How about the team that goes out and makes the most noise, the Padres? They get the Soto sweeps, and then they go and get swept by the Dodgers, which is probably the best team in the National League. Crazy, huh?
Well, it is crazy, and there's no question that I think that trade will bode well for the Padres, but they gave up, Wolo, a lot of talent, not just major league talent. They gave up some of their most courted and highest draft picks over the last couple of years in that trade. So I think the Nationals, time will tell, but I think the Nationals came out pretty good on it, knowing that they had no shot of re-signing Soto, as well as the Padres, who basically get him for the next 2.5 years. And even though they went out and got Harrison Bader, the closer for the Brewers, they got to be able to get to the closer. And the Dodgers are really good, and I think they made a statement by sweeping them after the Soto trade. So the Padres are going to have to definitely shore up some of their starting pitching and long relief. But the Padres showed you that they're committed to winning. And I think when I was actually just in San Diego at the area code games, and it was all over the news on the season tickets for next year are all sold out except for the upper deck. So they're seeing that trade is making a difference at the box office as well. Explain
to me why the Brewers, trying to win their division, be a factor in the playoffs, why they would trade their closer. Hader's been incredible the last 3 years.
I think that, I don't know his name, but they've got another guy that obviously they have confidence in that can step into that role. Is he going to be as good as Hader? That's hard to do, knowing what Hader's done over the last several years. And what they got in return for that trade, they just felt like that was a valuable trade to make, and time will tell for sure. But the one thing that people don't take into consideration is when you're in that clubhouse and you see that regardless of the future that you're getting in the trade, that the players see that you trade your closer, that kind of takes a little bit of confidence out of the players from the front office perspective, and are they committed to winning now or not? So the manager, Craig Counsell's got his work cut out for him to keep those players motivated to say, "Hey, we're all right. Let's make a push and try to beat the Cardinals."
So you already mentioned the Soto deal. Was that in the long run a good thing for the Padres? Will they sign Soto to a long-term extension? It's not going to be just for 2.5 years. I don't think.
Well, I think they're going to make a run. AJ Preller is really good. The owner's committed, but when you look up and the company that I work with represents Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah.
You've got nearly $500 million under contract with those two, right? Not to mention the other guys that you have on payroll that are some healthy contracts. So I think it's going to be very difficult for them because who knows what the market's going to be in 2 years? It's not going south, okay? And Soto's agent is Scott Boras. Scott Boras is not going to allow him to sign a deal just to sign a deal when he knows the market's going to continue to go up. And we all know that there's a handful of teams, not 10 teams, there's a handful of teams that have that money that are going to be willing to spend it, and regardless if they have to pay a luxury tax or not, they're going to be in on Juan Soto. And, it could be the Yankees by then. Time will tell, because if the Yankees don't sign Judge, which would be a huge mistake, if they don't sign Judge, they're going to have money to sign a Juan Soto.
So I'm just trying to remember. I think it was $440 million he turned down, right?
So they say.
Yeah.
So they say.
Right.
Right.
So
a lot of times that's propaganda from the Nationals so the fan base doesn't get totally, disenchanted by the Nationals being committed to winning.
I sure didn't hear Scott Boras deny that.
Well, I mean, Scott Boras might have helped leak it, right? Just to start setting the bar. That happens all the time. So, but yes, $440 million. That's a lot of money, right?
That is a lot of money. So, what do you think in 2 years he'll get?
Well, here's the hard part: is he's so young. So Boras is looking at it from two perspectives. We either sign a long-term deal that will be his last contract, or we'll sign a 6-year deal, and he'll be paid even a higher annual salary than even the long-term deal was, knowing that he's going to have the ability to get a second, 6 or 7 year deal, because the market's going to continue to go up. So it'll be presented to the player to say, do you want to do this, or do you want to just be done with it and sign a 10-year deal? So it just depends on the player. Like Mookie was totally content with signing a long-term deal because he always wanted to be with the Dodgers, and he loves it there. He knows they're going to be always committed to winning. So it's not like he was signing a long-term deal with a secondary team that's going to have fire sales to try to rebuild their organization. Mm-hmm. So it just depends. It just depends on the team and depends on the player and what he wants to do.
We mentioned the Padres. They got their two big pieces, so they did well in this trade deadline movement. Who else? Anybody?
Yeah, I think there were so many secondary trades that who knows if the Yankees trade, to get the outfielder from Kansas City, is that going to be? Yeah, I think that was a solid trade, but is it going to be helping them? It puts more balls in play for them because there's lots of swing and miss in that lineup, and this guy's just a consummate kind of a Don Mattingly kind of guy that's going to make hard contact. He's going to have some gap-to-gap power and play solid defense. They needed that. Well, is that going to help them? I think it's going to help them in playoffs because as we lead up to playoffs every year, and we've talked about it on the show quite frequently, is that the teams that typically win the playoffs are the teams that have a combination of power and the ability to put balls in play because you're facing the best arms in the business. So it's going to be hard. So if you've got players that can do the things that Benintendi can do sprinkled in your lineup, that's going to help you.
I still can't help but think the Astros and the Yankees in the American League Central and the Dodgers and the Mets in the American League, for the ALCS, and then in the NLCS, it's going to end up being the Dodgers and the Mets. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy, and crazy things have happened, but that's what it's looking like, and it's all going to come down to who's healthy and the ability for Buck Showalter and Doc to manage their bench and to make sure players are fresh and make sure the bench players are getting enough at bats leading up to the playoffs. Because pitching and defense is going to be critical, and when it comes down to playoffs, and you got to have your guys healthy. And I will tell you on another note, all the way down to the amateur level is, and you and I talked about it a little bit off the air, but you talk about pitching and defense is Chris Godwin, who's from Memphis, went to Christian Brothers. He runs all my Dallas operations. His 16U team just won the PG World Series, which is one of the most prominent World Series in our space. He went 9-0 in that event and did not give up a single run.
How do you do that? Not one run in 9 games?
And what's crazy about it is at 16 years old, the average velocity is probably, 84 to 86. Some guys are bumping some 90s, but most of them are 79 or 80 to 84. Well, we had a few arms that were those power arms, but for the most, they were in that average velocity. They just threw strikes, and then if you throw strikes and don't walk guys and catch the ball, then good things happen. But for you to go through any event at any level to win 9 straight games and not give up a single run was remarkable on his part.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. That's amazing.
Well, I don't think it's never been done in perfect game history. So that was a big coup for them to win that.
Not only pride of Christian Brothers, as you mentioned, he was a catcher for the University of Memphis Tigers.
Yes, he was.
Oh.
And yeah, he does a great job with that group.
No doubt about it. All right, enjoy the. Are you through for this summer competition?
No,
now?
I'm not through. I've got a couple more big events. There's the PG All-American game that is going to be in Arizona, and then the Under Armour All-American game is going to be at Kansas City in a couple of weeks. That'll be the kind of both of those events are similar to the McDonald's All-American game for basketball. So yeah, I got those 2 events, and then it slows down a little bit. We'll have to get out to Miramichi and play some golf.
There you go. Love it when you say that. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it.
All right, well, thanks.
That's our man. That is Tim Doolin. Always love chatting with Tim, and he is brought to you in part by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. If you haven't seen the beautiful work that Ken does, all you got to do is go to kengarland.com. If you're ready to build that dream home, or maybe you're ready to renovate, you don't really want to leave where you are, you don't like the way the market is right now, but you want modern amenities. Nobody does renovation, and I call it renovation with innovation. Nobody does it better than Ken Garland. Go to that site, kengarland.com, see the new homes, see how he's renovated homes, and you will love what you see. Then call him, 751-1632. A fun guy to talk to, always straightforward, and he's one of those rare individuals, sees little details in the big picture all at the same time. Here's the number, 751-1632. If you're looking for land, he's got that. If you don't know how to utilize the land that you might have, maybe it's been in your family forever, he knows. 751-1632, Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Back in just a minute, we talk NFL. We're going to make our predictions a little bit later in the year, but Russell Copeland is going to go over the AFC West in just a minute.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, folks. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I'm excited. I just returned from the largest jewelry show of the year and the first really big international market since COVID turned our world upside down. The new merchandise is coming in almost every day, and it is magnificent. Whether you're looking for a beautiful diamond engagement ring or a bracelet set with fabulous sapphires, come see the endless possibilities. Maybe a fabulous ruby necklace or a pair of earrings set with sparkling green emeralds. There's a stunning selection waiting just for you. And I invite you to take advantage of our 37 years in business right here in Memphis. Come see what you get when you combine beauty and value, quality and service in a fine jewelry store. What you get is Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. I'm Bill Russell, and I invite you to join thousands of Memphians who call Russell Brothers their personal jewelers. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And it's now available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hi, this is Greg Gaston. I'm talking about new therapies, advanced all-natural biologics, regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in precision regenerative medicine with over 100 clinics across America and literally thousands of satisfied patients. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy options that can change your life. Call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation with local medical professionals. Call 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010.
In the alley since 1948, the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see everything kind of getting back to normal.
Brett, we've done a lot of ads before, but maybe it's time for me to do a recap. We have valet parking at the end of our alley on Monroe. On Fridays and Saturdays, we give away our wonderful red beans and rice until it runs out. And you know we like to do things local. Miss Barbara Jackson of O Taste and See has been making these wonderful chess and pecan pies, that's pecan, not pecan, and key lime pies for dessert. And we just started serving this wonderful gelato from Sweet Magnolia Gelato Company. And just to remind everybody, you don't eat cheese and sausage with a knife and fork. You take a cracker, you put the sausage on it, you put a piece of cheese on it, a little mustard or a little sauce, take a bite and chase it with the pickle. Brett, we've always been the place for all gatherings, whether they're corporate, rehearsal dinners, retirement parties, birthday parties, whatever. We seat anywhere from 20 people to 250 people. And oh, by the way, we are now open for lunch from 11 o'clock on Tuesday through Saturday. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Winding our way through Tuesday, FedEx St. Jude Classic Championship Week. Today, speaking, by the way, at 12:30, and you'll watch this on your news tonight and read about it tomorrow, seriously. Tom Kim. It's Jun Young Kim, but he goes by Tom. I believe he was born in South Korea, but he grew up in Australia, learned English there. He's really a smart, sharp kid, very articulate, very mature for his age, 20 years old. He's going to speak at 12:30. Then Sam Burns, Cam Young, Cam Smith. I wonder if he'll get asked about Liv. We'll get the Liv deal today, too, if that stay in California is granted on the three guys, Jones, Swafford, and
Hoagie.
No.
Gooch. Taylor Gooch. Yeah, Hoagie's not there.
Yeah. And then tomorrow, Rory and Justin. So it's great to have all these great names in here. We mentioned Colin Morikawa, and he was at the OP9 out of the brand new 9 at Overton Park. That was really a great scene. It's public golf, and they brought the kids out there. That's great. And just a reminder, Fox Meadows has reopened with brand new greens. The investment in Memphis golf continues. And I do want to point out, go play Audubon, because October 31st, it's shut down. They're rebuilding that course. It's going to be totally different. It is going to be amazing. Oh, yeah. Memphis Public Golf still very much alive and well. Russell Copeland's going to join us here in 1 second. He's brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. Russell, a great Tiger, and Eflin, a great Tiger supporter. Matt loves his U of M, and his whole team really loves to help you when it comes to protecting your family, your home, your car, your business. And he does it a different way. It's called collaboration. He gets to know you. He'll sit down, get to know you, and then pick the right home or auto program that not only fits what your needs are, but also your budget. He gets to know exactly what that is, and he's really good with small to mid-sized businesses. If you need commercial insurance, again, he gets to know your business, forecast out maybe 10 years from now. What's important to protect, he does that. All you got to do is call 901-386-GER for Tigers. That's 4777. 901-386-4777. That's the Eflin Insurance Team. Russell Copeland, you got to explain this sort of to me, because I think it's a new trend, and I think it has to be sort of a distraction. The latest is Roquan Smith, who is reporting to the Chicago Bears camp but not participating, riding a bicycle. I don't know if that's a disruption. We've seen that 2 or 3 times. Instead of hold out, I guess they call it hold in. Is that good or bad for the team?
Hey, Dave, I can hear you barely. I think there's a bad connection, but I pretty much heard most of what you were saying as far as the distraction for players coming into camp and not playing. I think first and foremost, I think the players are now understanding their worth. I think if they have contract situations, I think they need to get those things ironed out, and I think the club needs to honor those things. But if a player's there, he's not at home, he's not taking a vacation, he's not doing an Aaron Rodgers, he's not doing Ezekiel Elliott, he's not in Mexico, he's learning the plays, he's there with his teammates. No, I do not think it's a distraction, and I think at the end of the day, I think the contracts will be ironed out.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I know we didn't talk about this earlier, but how about that trip to Peru to take that hallucinogen that he said changed his life? It's not outlawed by the NFL. Did you ever do that?
No, I never did. I think when you look at, an MVP and you look at Aaron Rodgers and you look at the success that he has on the field, I think if he says it works, I think it's something that the NFL will look at, and I think other players will try to do it. But no, I did not do that.
Crazy. But apparently he said it helped his life, changed his life. And that was before he won the 3rd of 4 MVPs. So obviously it did not hurt his case. All right, you've been outspoken about Deshaun Watson. 6-game suspension, and the NFL thought that was too light. That came from an independent review. Somebody the NFL hired to legislate a punishment, and they didn't, or Roger Goodell didn't think that was enough. In fact, think about it. 4-game suspension for Tom Brady and Deflategate. Only 6 with 26 women who have said this guy did them wrong. What is your sense of what you think will happen here, and is it unfair for Goodell to go after Watson?
Well, I'm not going to go into innocent or guilty. I think the National Football League, they owe it to their fans. You make a lot of money, and I think they owe it to everyone to be able to get it right. And unfortunately, the National Football League has not gotten punishments right over the last several years, and that's why an independent arbitrator was hired to be able to fix those things. And apparently she did not do it. And now Roger Goodell is in the same situation that he was before. She was hired to be able to look at situations and be able to hand down suspicion that she thought was fair. She gives him 6 games, but it was based on what had happened previously in the past. And for me, from my understanding, that was not what her job was to be, because the old rule, the way things were, it was not fair. I think players should have been suspended more for things for conduct that was detrimental to the team. So she gives him 6 games. I look at it now. I think it's going to be something that's going to be drawn out, for a long time. I think he plays. It reminds me of the Ezekiel Elliott situation where he ended up playing 8 games. He was suspended for 6. He appealed it, and he played 8 games, and then he was suspended for those 6 games. I just think this is something that the National Football League needs to be able to get right, because if you look at what she felt like he did, she looked at conduct detrimental. it does not fit 6 games. If she says the things that he did and she believes that, I think he should have been suspended, a lot more than 6 games from what she written down and what her understanding of what took place.
What do you think Roger Goodell is after here?
What did you say, Dave?
What is Roger Goodell after? Does he want a whole year suspension?
Well, that's what the NFL is asking for. They're asking for a fine, and they're asking for a year suspension. That's what's on the table, and the NFLPA is going to look at it and say, no, they're going to fight it. You'll probably see appeals, and you'll probably see this case go to a federal court. And when it goes to a federal court, you're going to have a lot of things from the NFLPA that's going to protect the players, and you have the National Football League with Roger Goodell. So that's why I think that he will play. How fast it goes along with these litigations, I don't know. But like I said, with Ezekiel Elliott, the same situation occurred, and Ezekiel Elliott played the first 8 games.
All right, let's take a look at the AFC West and how you think this thing will finish. I would have to think Chiefs are the overwhelming favorite. The Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers all make it an interesting division in my mind.
Well, I'm not going to say that the Chiefs are overwhelming favorite from my standpoint. I think the chokehold that the Chiefs have had on the AFC West has diminished, as we saw last year when, they started the first half of the season 4-4. They lost 2 of their first 3 games, and that was because of the emergence of the LA Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, when you look at it in the offseason, it has been a lot of moving pieces, has been a lot of trades, in particular in this division, and I think you have to start with the hiring of head coaches. When you look at the Raiders, they went out and got Josh McDaniels, who's been with the Patriots for a very long time, offensive coordinator. Then Daniel Hackett goes to the Denver Broncos. He's been a great offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. And now he brings Russell Wilson in a trade from the Seattle Seahawks, and the Raiders get Devontae Adams. So with all these pieces moving, a lot of different players, a lot of big-name players, I think still the Kansas City Chiefs are number one. I don't think they're overwhelming favorite, but I like Patrick Mahomes and I like Andy Reid. Number 2 is going to be the Chargers. I think they made great acquisitions. When you look at Khalil Mack, getting him, getting the top cornerback in free agency, I think that sets the tone. Their defense is already set offensively. When you look at Justin Herbert, you look at those weapons, I think they're primed and ready to be able to move and perhaps maybe even get number 1. But I got them number 2. And I think number 3 and number 4 for me, Dave, is going to be a toss-up with the Broncos when you look at the Raiders. And I think possibly for the first time, I think you could have 4 teams that comes out of one division and you have 3 division winners. We'll have to see. It's going to be a long season. It's 17 games. But I really like this AFC West division. But I'll say the Chiefs, I'll say the Chargers, and I think it's a toss-up between 3 and 4 between the Broncos and the Raiders. But I love this division.
Would you say it's the most competitive division?
I definitely do. I think it is the most competitive division when you look at all these moving pieces. I mean, I think all these teams have great quarterbacks. You look at Mahomes, you look at Wilson, you look at Carr, and you look at Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Just that division there, you got 4 great quarterbacks. And just in the AFC period, I think the AFC is really going to be competitive this year. We talk about the Buffalo Bills, how well they look. You look at them as being Super Bowl contenders. But when you look in the AFC, it's a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of great teams. You got Burrow, and I named some of the other quarterbacks. So it's going to be really interesting in the AFC, and it's going to be very hard to just pick who's going to be the favorite. And it's going to come down to November and December, who's going to be the most healthiest, and which one of these great quarterbacks is going to be playing great and can be healthy going into the playoffs.
You think about it, this is a good year for quarterback play. I mean, it really is. Most teams have really good QBs. I think a lot of that has to do with the way colleges play offensively now, and they have developed really, really good quarterbacks at a young age. Russell Copeland, as always, we appreciate it, and we will chat with you on Thursday. We're doing 2 doses of Russell a week until football starts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. See you next week.
You got it. This portion of our show, our final portion, brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the famous tune-up. You know that 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up for $69 while it's still hot. They still do that Freon leak check, and that is important. $69. They do all that inside, and then they go and they do a spectacular job of cleaning all the dirt and the grime and the leaves from your outside units. And they will include, in particular, now on the outside, a little Teflon coating to help protect against the Memphis sun on that out. So the Freon check, the Teflon coating, along with all the other stuff for $69. What are you waiting for? Your system's efficient. You'll save money on your LGW bill, and your system will last longer. 384-3511. 384-3511. Conway Services. We'll talk to you tomorrow from TPC Southwind. Have a great day, everybody.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford and Landers Ford South. We've provided 100 new Fords to the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. That's 100 new Ford Explorers and Expeditions, demo priced to sell now. This is a once-a-year opportunity to upgrade for less and support a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance to pay less during the Landers Sales Drive. Reserve your demo-priced new Ford, driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship, and lock in low APR financing. Landers Ford and Landers Ford South. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
The first name in Memphis Italian food, it's Ronnie Grizzani's in Regalia. Lunch, the Italian favorites with crisp, cold Miss Mary salad, lobster tower, fried green tomatoes, the crab stack, Monday through Saturday for lunch. Ronnie Grizzani's Catering, check out the lunch catering guide at ronniegrizzani.com. The Elfo Special, salad, Italian bread for $14 per person. Ronnie Grizzani's, they'll bring it to you. 901-850-0191. Pick up a pan of lasagna at Ronnie Grizzani's at Regalia or check out the bulk menu at ronniegrizzani.com. Get your favorites at home. Chicken Alfredo, ravioli, Italian spinach, curbside pickup, delivery to your door. Free within 4 miles of Regalia. The bar, stay cool with the cocktail list. Steaks, the 8-ounce Gorgonzola and bacon wrap filet. Try it, thank me later. In High Point Grocery, Super Low in Spotswood and Goodman Road, and Buster's Liquors. Make lunch or dinner easy at Ronnie Grizzani's, a Memphis tradition since 1909.
The summer clearance sale is happening now at Family Leisure. You can get up to $2,000 off on a swimming pool. Yes, you heard me. $2,000 off on swimming pools. Get it installed in 2022. You'll be ready for summer 2023. Plus, if you are more of a do-it-yourselfer, Family Leisure has specials that are just too good to pass up, with free ladder upgrades and a whole season worth of chemicals. No one else can offer that kind of deal. Looking for patio furniture? In-stock sets are up to 30% off. Play gyms and trampolines, you can get up to $1,000 off with free installation. We don't know how long these hot temperatures will last, but we do know these prices will not. So take advantage of the summer clearance sale. It's happening right now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whidden Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Memphis's oldest restaurant, Colette's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And after 99 years, I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Colette's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Colette's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Colette's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Colette's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Colette's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Colette's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ members.